Hello and welcome to the True North Show. I'm your host, Megan North, and I'd like to start by thanking the sponsors of the show, Quantum Awakening, Beth Lewis, Anne C. Clark, and of course, our lovely guest who has kindly supported the show and is featured on this episode. Today, I am joined by a wonderful and returning guest, Vera Helleman. Vera is a teacher, speaker, and founder of the Emotion Codex, a transformative body of work that restores emotions to their rightful place as a guiding intelligence in human life. Rather than seeing emotions as problems to be fixed or pushed aside, Vera invites us to understand them as precise signals that reveal how we are perceiving, interpreting, and creating our reality. Her work is built around the idea that emotions are not random disturbances, but part of a deeper energetic order. Through the Emotion Codex, she has mapped emotions into 8 distinct groups, giving people a practical framework for understanding the intelligence within their emotional responses and moving toward greater clarity, alignment, and flow. Blending non-dual philosophy with grounded experiential teaching, Vera encourages people to explore their own inner experience rather than simply adopting beliefs. Through her Emotion Mastery program, live events and writings, she helps others build emotional awareness, authenticity, and inner stability. Vera's work speaks to those who want a deeper, more conscious relationship with themselves and a more meaningful way to understand the role emotions play in life, leadership, and transformation. Vera, welcome back to the True North Show. I'm thrilled that you're here with me again today.
Me too, actually. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. So Vera says that your emotions aren't random at all. They're intelligent signals showing you exactly how you're creating your reality. Stay with us because after this quick commercial break, she'll share with us how understanding your emotions can unlock clarity, alignment, and real inner power. Welcome back to the True North Show. I am here with Vera Helleman, founder of the Emotion Codex, whose work helps us see emotions not as obstacles, but as intelligent guidance. So Vera, you describe the Emotion Codex as a living language of energy. So what does that mean, and how is it different from how we usually understand emotions?
Well, first of all, most people experience emotions physically. And eventually they of course penetrate your body, but emotions start as energetically. So that is something that when we are aware of those energetic movements in a very earlier stage than when they already reach the body, you in an earlier stage also see where you are off or out of balance, or when something is happening underneath that maybe on the mental level or conscious level you didn't see before. So that is one thing. But it also means that we all know a lot about the body. We also know a lot about the mind. We are busy raising our consciousness, but emotions are still these nagging, unwelcome things that throw us off, that we want to get rid of. But through our emotions, we can learn to understand the energetic templates that actually carries this whole reality. That's what I find most fascinating about our emotions. It's an
Mm.
to a whole new and other world.
Yeah. And the way that we respond to our emotions and the way that we deal with emotions and the way that we experience our emotions, is it something that we're taught as we grow up? Like, is it something that we view from our parents, or is it a DNA thing, or is it a little bit of everything?
Well, emotions actually, these are these energetic principles. So energetically, we are all connected to each other. So we are also affected by each other. That
Mm,
is one thing that influence our emotions. That is just a fundamental principle of the energetic world.
mm,
But emotions are also responding to what we believe. For example, when we believe that we are not good enough or we are rejected, when we hear criticism, that immediately evokes an emotion, an inner, a cramp in our system. So that is something that we can learn from our parents.
mm,
Because when they criticize us because they criticize themselves, we learn to criticize. Then we get these inner voices, which started with the outer voices, and then our emotions will respond. So our emotions aren't something that we inherit from our parents. It is the beliefs that we inherit that the emotions respond to, and of course, the way that our parents cope with their emotions. And when we look at this time and the generation of our parents and our parents' parents, they all seem to suppress emotions, don't talk about it, don't show it, shovel them under the carpet. And so most people haven't learned to deal with emotions in a healthy way.
mm.
But fundamentally, the energetic movements are the same everywhere in every culture all around the world, even in animals.
Right. And I remember when we spoke last time, it's interesting that you talked about the animals, because I remember that you gave me an example of a goat. Was it a goat that you were talking about?
Yes, it was. And I also remember that I changed the kilos and the pounds. So
Yeah.
actually, it was a 160 pounds goat. We sold her eventually.
And when can you give an example, like I'm going to say a simple example, but an example of something that you've worked with a client in relation to this, or something yourself that would give the audience a little bit more of an understanding in relation to what you're explaining. I understand it because I'm an energetic healer and I kind of get all of this, but I suppose for someone who is thinking, oh my gosh, I have no idea, I think sometimes an example always helps.
Yes, let me give you a quite breakthrough example, and that's about anger. So when you look at anger, it feels like your wrist are fist are, how do you say that? And
Clench.
yeah, clenched, and so you want to lash out to someone else. But when you look at the evolvement, energetic evolvement of anger, when anger first starts, when we are getting angry, the energy actually is not an outwarding energy, it's an inwarding energy. And that always is because before we got angry, our energy was wasted or divided or taken by something in the outer world. So anger is something that most people hate, don't understand, or even, don't accept. But when you understand that anger pops up to help us regain and recenter our energy because we spilled it somewhere else, we lacked it, this getting angry process is actually a good thing because
Mm.
it actually gets your energy back from where you've spilled it.
Wow,
So,
that's a fantastic example.
yes, because it's
Because
all about energy, and emotions have partially the purpose to regain your balance continuously, because they're also responsible for your vitality and your energetic field around you,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
because it's the energetic part of you.
Mm,
Emotions are the language of the energetic part of you.
mm. And when you talked about that in relation to that your energy going out and it needs to come back, I do a lot of work with my clients around boundaries. So having boundaries in relation to your energy. So is that something also that sort of ties into this, in the sense of, if you've got strong boundaries around who you are, your belief systems, your values, and your energy, then that can also help you from an emotional point of view?
Yes and no,
Mm.
because when you have strong boundaries on a mental level, actually that makes things a lot more difficult,
Mm.
because people with a lot of boundaries between right and wrong and what they should do and what they cannot do and what the world looks like, they live in this kind of way. And that makes that everything that happens outside of that view contracts and is not
Mm.
accepted and is reversed and is scary, and that actually evokes a lot of emotions.
Wow, of course.
Yes, but when we speak about energetic boundaries, that is
Mm.
emotion group discussed aversion, that's a whole different thing, because then energetically you immediately feel if something is feeding you or draining you. And that's
Mm.
a very strict, threshold that you can sense. And
Yes.
that's a real boundary. And when you
Mm.
cross this boundary, you feel, something is off.
Mm.
But then
And
we need
that's,
to, of course,
wow.
mental or energetically.
Yeah, okay, that's really interesting. And the example of that would be when some people say, I spend time with someone, and when I walk away from them, I feel so drained because they've drained my energy. Whereas if they spend time with someone, we say, I don't know whether it's a universal thing, but here in Australia we'll say someone really fills my cup, because their energy is really lovely and I feel great around them. So that then I'm feeling like that's kind of a good example of the draining of the energy, as opposed to making you feel great with your energy.
Exactly. And then we have in this world all these social rules uh, that keeps you in the neighborhood of draining people because you need to be nice and all that kind of things.
Yes.
When you find your people and they resonate with you, they amplify your essential energy. That
Yeah.
is what those people do. They are people on your wavelength, and this
Yeah.
wavelength is vibrating and amplifying.
Mm.
So energetically.
I love that. Wow. That's, yeah, really good. Really, really good. And so a lot of people see emotions as, something that I've got to manage or I've got to heal it, but you approach that differently. So can you explain what the shift is?
Well, the interesting thing is when we talk about healing, there are two parts
Hmm.
about healing. And that is one, when something has happened to you, you make assumptions and conclusions about that incident. And then these conclusions shapes your belief system. And when something likewise happens again, this triggers the emotion.
Mm.
So part of healing is, of course, looking at things differently so you can make peace with it.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of healing is the energetic release.
Mm-hmm.
And that is totally energy and balancing your system. But working with the Emotion Codex actually not only gives you an insight in your own pain on which and beliefs that aren't aligned with your true essence or block you in evolving the emotions response to, they also give you insight in the true purpose of these emotional forces that are actually here to give you something. And when you feel negative emotions and you tune in into that emotion as if it were an external entity, you understand why it doesn't only hurt you, but also hurts the energetic force, because you ignore or neglect or reject its gifts for you. That is what truly the Emotion Codex can give us, because understanding those forces will uplift your life in a way that only enlightened people experience.
Yeah. And I guess it's also for people like me who I like to understand why this is happening, or what is the gift of wisdom I'm being given, that the Emotion Codex is giving you that, I guess, the brain piece. Like, it almost feels like, okay, now I understand why that's happening. I understand the gift. And then often I would imagine that it would help you to, well, understand the emotion then as well.
Yes, well, you know what the thing is? I have a lot of students who also, of course, want to know why things happened, and they always dive into the story, what happened in their life, and why people did some things, what message they need to get from it. And they can all caught up with those stories, and this is often a never-ending story. But the Codex gives you the energetic logic underneath it all, and that goes beyond the story.
Right.
So often, for example, the anger example, when I drained my energy to something, I can get angry about at that person. I can figure out why I stayed there, and on a certain level, that's important to recognize it the next time. But understanding that your emotions help you restore your balance, and then give you someone on your pathway to make you angry, actually makes it less important why this person does some things to you.
Yeah.
You can say, thank you for that, because I needed anger, because I needed to center again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Mm.
that black and white, but
Yeah.
there's more to it than only the story.
Yeah. Yeah. And the story is an very interesting thing when we think about emotions and healing and those sort of things, because often the story is often the benefit, like, what's the benefit of holding on to this emotion, or why am I feeling like that? There's usually a benefit to it. But if you remove the story, then there's no benefit, in a sense. It's like, okay, well, I can't really blame the story anymore. So actually now I've got to understand what the emotion is and why it's here.
Yes, actually, they all work together. I have a model that I
Yes.
work with
Yes.
often. I'm going to show it to you. This is half of the codex. Let me put
Yeah.
it in here. And this is, I call it the God Sparkle, because these are the 4 fundamental forces on which the entire universe is built. And you see it back in everything in our lives. But just let's say this is our minds, our thoughts, this is our body, these are our feelings, and this is our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So what we always look for is how they come together. So, for example, something happens in our life, we make a conclusion about that, and when it's either not aligned with our true essence, our emotions respond to that. So, for example, someone is depressed, and we feel our energy is drained, and we blame that person. Or we blame ourselves to be long enough with that. And then, so we blame that other person, and then this other person changes in front of our eyes. Our emotions get more angry. But a lot of people are asleep in this process. These are all automatic patterns. So we have to stop the loop somewhere. And that's where consciousness comes in. And the understanding about the principles of our human equipment. This is
Yeah.
our human equipment.
Yeah.
Body, mind, feelings, and consciousness. Well, I
Mm.
use this in a lot of cases to explain things, but
Mm.
sometimes we think differently than we underneath believe,
Mm.
and our emotions always reveal what we truly believe.
Mm.
So they all
Because,
work together.
yeah, okay. Because, I love that because it's very hard. I mean, you can sweep your emotions under the rug, but at the end of the day, they do end up coming out, don't they? So it's very hard that ultimately the emotions are going to come up to the surface and show themselves eventually.
Totally, yes. You always bring yourself, so we can look the other way around. We can, uh, yeah, think differently, but still believe something. And then, yes, all our emotions are always more truthful to
Yeah.
us. They are the mediators, actually, between our conscious mind and what's going on in our inner world unconsciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say then an example of that is, when I'm a real people observer. I love to just sit back and listen to conversations and sort of observe people. And sometimes I've seen someone say something, I don't know, maybe to their husband or wife, and there's no words spoken from the other person, but you can see their body language. And that, I guess, is that example, right? Of there's no word spoken, but their true self has reacted, and that emotion has reacted in their body in the the true response.
Yes, exactly. And they probably made an assumption and they don't know if that's true at all. So we
Mm,
all live our own story,
yeah, yeah.
actually. So we are also trapped in our own story.
Mm,
And that is why we feel sometimes negative,
yeah.
because we are caught up in a story, our own story. And then
Mm,
we try to solve it in the outer world, but we need to solve it within. And our
yeah.
emotions are the guides that show us what's going on, because
Mm,
each emotion shows something different and teaches us something different and asks something different of us.
yeah.
So I divided all the emotions in different groups, and they also correlate to life themes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually an inner roadmap to understand life and things
Okay.
you can do in your life to bring the best out of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that was the next thing that I was going to ask in relation to that you've mapped the emotions into those 8 groups. So what became visible to you when you started to see the emotions in this structured way?
Wow, that was mind blowing when I started to see the different structures and how they interacted with each other. I always thought in terms of three, the holy triangle, everything was three: mind, body, soul, but then I started seeing that everything contains of four principles, and the emotions. There are 8 different emotion groups, but actually they speak in duos.
Okay.
And these duos relate to the 4 fundamental principles of life: force of oneness, force of information, force of interconnection, and force of motions. And you see that in everything. So when I started to dive into emotions, they gave me insight into the energetics and the fundamental principles that goes beyond and before all the physical world. And so when they revealed themselves to me, I saw all the magic in the world again, and that everything was based on the same principles. And so the magic in life, amplified in my perception, but also it became so much logic and understandable and relaxed because of that.
Mm, mm. And this
Yeah.
was from remembering our last conversation. This was like direct downloads that you received in relation to this, wasn't it? And it wasn't in English either.
Yes. That was the strangest thing. It started with one huge bubble of information. And the strangest thing was that I understood what it meant, but I couldn't produce it with my mind. And that was a very uncomfortable situation because I really, the earth was shaking underneath me because I saw, well, the universal structures and understood what it meant, but I couldn't bring it to my mind. That cost me several months. So I saw all these symbolic structures of moving energy, and my head was exploding. Of puzzles, and so I started drawing all these symbols, and I started recognizing them. Hey, I know these symbols, but I don't know what I mean. I know what I mean, but I didn't know what they said about the symbols. And then I was looking them up, and they didn't really exactly told the same as I saw. So I stayed true my truth because it was such an out of an earthly, not earthly experience.
Yeah.
And the books were all written by people, so I stayed true to myself. And then I started to understand that all these symbols were related to each other and was left for us in ancient time to remember about energy. And but it was all forgotten during the ages, during the centuries. So, all the symbols that we use differently are all interconnected and all speak about the same thing, about the energetic structure of the universe. That is, through our emotions. I could see them and receive them and translate them to an emotional structure. So that is so tangible and so recognizable and close to everyone that we also get to understand that.
Yes.
Because you don't have to be so super psychic or sensitive to see it. We all experience it through our energetic, our emotional, experiences.
And I love that the symbols was something that came through for you as well, because I think that if you weren't a person that had sort of an understanding of energy and had I guess someone that had no idea about this type of work, the symbols and the tangible, being able to see something, I think is a real gift that you were given too, because it helps you then to explain this work and the emotions themselves.
Exactly. And we, of course, are all equipped for what we need to do in life. Yes. So I was born to teach people about energy through our emotions. So I got this psychic ability. I got this artistic brain that could structure anything, maybe even a nice personality to bring it. We all got the things we need to do roll out our purpose. Yes.
It's beautiful, really beautiful. And so, why do you think that so many personal and, I guess, societal problems are connected to a disconnection from feelings?
Yes, there are. When you look at the society, I see a huge lack of understanding of feelings. Of course, the intellectual era that we are in, we all need to understand it. And now with all the AI and distraction on a mental level, I see how we ruin this planet, all because we haven't integrated the force of interconnection. So when we look at this model again, these also speak about those four forces: the force of information, the force of motion, the force of oneness, and the force of interconnection. So this one is left out. So everything that we see is true. That's science. This is psychology. It's all in the mind, and you need to be smart to be something. This is actually maybe religion. There's a higher force, and that's consciousness. But this is feeling. So also a lot of people who are very conscious can be very immature or premature even in feeling. I always thought that highly consciousness people also have a lot of emotional intelligence, but that's not true. So when you look at this planet, yeah, this connects us all, the force of interconnection, and that is our feeling. And when you relate to that, and in a tangible example, is the moment that you start sharing about feelings. Well, no one does that. We only share our successes. But when you really would share about feeling, and not wanting to fix it or not wanting to give advice, it so connects us.
Yes.
And everyone is so scared about that. But we all long for that. We all lost the sight of the connection of it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can give you so much examples of the lack of feeling in this society.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always think it's interesting when I ask someone, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. Or I'm fine.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, and if it's a close friend, I've got a couple of very close friends and my business partner also, that we're like, no, that's not the response that we want. Like, how are you really? Tell me. I'm going to
Exactly.
listen.
Yes.
I'm going to listen.
But most people are afraid of such a question. Oh, don't grab to my soul. Stay out of it. Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is very yeah. It's a big threat when you really want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
About 18 months ago, I wrote a white paper, so a research paper in relation to mental health and wellbeing in the IT industry, so specifically the IT industry here in Australia and New Zealand. And when I spoke to leaders, so I was talking to like CEOs and executives who manage big teams. And as we know, people who are in IT are often just behind a computer and, some of them don't talk very often. And so when I really dived into this conversation with these leaders, I asked them about asking your employees, are they okay and are they struggling? There was the fear or the worry about asking the question was never there for them. What they worried about was, how do I respond and what do I do if they say I'm not okay? And so it was
Exactly.
a really interesting research that I did, because then I thought, well, actually, I think probably a lot of us, and particularly around mental health, if you've never experienced mental health issues or someone who has, a lot of people worry that if someone tells me I'm not okay, that it's like, but you're not there to help them. You can actually go and get help for them. But it's just interesting that response from people. Often people are worried about, what if somebody tells me I'm not okay? How do I respond to that?
Yes, yes. Maybe even also because we don't know how to respond to our own unhappiness inside when something's going on.
Yeah,
They're all left-handed in
yeah,
coping with negative emotions.
yeah,
Help. And I even can do it myself. What
yeah.
should I do with someone else? Yes.
Yeah,
And so
very.
we keep on the loop of not sharing
Yeah,
and
I'm fine. I'm okay. All good.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. All wearing masks.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it probably leads into something that I was curious about too, is that so I think that most people, or what do you think most people misunderstand about emotions? And then what changes when someone truly starts to understand their emotion instead of reacting to them? So what happens to someone once they start to get this in-depth information and understanding?
Yes. Well, first of all, when someone feels a certain way, they all get caught up in the emotion. They say, I am angry, I am sad, I am disappointed, or whatever. So there isn't a distance to their emotions.
Because
So
they're
they,
saying that they are the emotion. Is that what you
yes,
mean? Ah,
yes, and there's
right.
lack of understanding, and they are caught up in the story and the emotion, and it keeps on spinning, spinning.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to understand that we aren't the emotions. The emotions are experienced to give us advice. So we can consult our emotions instead of being driven by them. Because that always lacks consciousness when we react emotionally.
Yep.
So we are emotional beings, but because emotions are our equipment.
Yep.
And that is the first thing that we need to understand. Emotions are here to give us advice, so you can consult them. So we need to bring consciousness in between them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge mathematical logic underneath emotions because they are energetic. So that is also what we misunderstand, is that the energetics of our reactions are quicker than our physical responses.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things we don't need to act out in the outer world, we can resolve in our inner world, and that changes the outcome completely.
Right.
Well, there are a lot of misunderstandings about emotions, but those come to my mind right now.
Yeah. Mm.
Emotions, a lot of people, when I started teaching about emotions, I got all these reactions on Facebook, which I use then only. How can I get rid of them? Am I going to learn a trick to get rid of them? Or everyone wanted to get rid of emotions, but emotions are fascinating. They are important. They are enriching. They are exactly what we all want. We all want to be happy, and happy is an emotion. You
Yeah.
don't want to get rid of emotions.
Yeah.
You want to understand them and integrate. But yeah, they are also energetic vitality. If you balance your whole energetic system, and I will show you the codex. This is the Emotion Codex. This is also what's around us. This makes our energetic field. When you balance all these are emotion groups. When you balance all these emotions, so they are going to work together as an energetic, army to keep you healthy and vitalized and give you all the ingredients to attract a life that is aligned with your true essence. Are we starting to understand it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so if we talk about like emotional mastery, what would
Yes.
that actually feel like in a daily life? So for you, I would think that probably 95% of the time, 99% of the time, you've got emotional mastery. And so what does it feel and look like in daily life?
Yes, let me first explain that each of the 8 emotional groups contains positive as well as negative emotions.
Okay. Yep.
They are correlated to life themes, and when something is off in that life theme, that specific emotions will respond. The more we are misaligned, the more negative those emotions will be. And so when we learn to understand them and cope with them, we can raise the ladder of those emotion group and at least be at peace and calm inside. But what we also can do when we really understand those forces is that we, as I explained with the model, we can amplify those forces while they all are raised and working together, and then we amplify our energy
Wow.
and
Yeah.
get this attracting vibe around us, and that will give us not only unconditional love, it gives us clarity, it gives us um, um, the adventurous mind. It gives us determination and focus, and I'm going through all those emotion groups. At the top of the ladder, when they are working together, you can create the life you were born to live, because you know that each one of these forces is needed to create your life. You need an intention, you need ideas, you need focus, you need the energetic carrying field. well, you need to step out. You need determination to eventually produce something in the outer world. All these forces are needed to also create, and you will know how.
And so through that, I guess I got a bit of some intuition in relation to this, in the sense of, is it then like when something happens, and the emotion, is it like pausing and observing the emotion? Is that
Yes.
what like the mastery is then going the pause and recognizing it, observing it, and then working with it?
Yes, but that will be quicker and quicker. So
Right.
in the beginning, when you learn to use this language and learn to understand and talk the language, then when something happens to you and an emotion pops up, this emotion is an alarming bell to wake your consciousness. Then you stop the time, you consult that emotions, you search why it feedback on what. You know what the message is, you know how to resolve it. And it seems like a process of a few minutes, but once you understand that, you're starting to understand life,
Yeah.
and that life isn't so bad, and that
Yeah.
everything that happens isn't a coincidence,
Mm.
and that actually you attracted that because you already were aware of your energetic inner world in an earlier state. So the more you work with emotions, you understand them, the more you resolve old pain, and eventually live a life that is aligned.
Yeah.
And this aligned life doesn't evoke so much negative emotions.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
moment they do, you grab them earlier than them when they already at the bottom of that ladder.
Yeah.
You already feel,
Mm.
and align again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
you're far more centered all the time.
Wow, it's amazing. And so
Mhm.
this Emotion Codex work that you do, is it one-on-one work that you do with clients, or is it coursework? How can people connect with you and understand more about this work that you're doing?
Yes, I don't work one-on-one, but the other hand, I do, because within the Emotion Mastery program, that's a 1 year or a 9-month trajectory. You have access for a year. You get courses which explain each emotion group, but the courses are also a healing process in which we confront, we teach, we heal, and we uplift.
Right.
And during this whole process, I'm there 4 times a week in live call, so each one can ask me all personal questions. And those are all one-on-one interactions
Yes.
within the group. So you can raise your hand and have a one-on-one with me. So actually it's together with other people. So you also meet people of your own wavelength. So this is
Mm.
a practical platform in which, the teaching were, shaped in a way that they benefit all kinds of learning and guidance people need. Yeah.
Okay. And so if someone is sort of at the beginning of their journey, do they step straight into the program, or is there a step by step, or how does the program work?
Well, you can start today if you would like to,
Yep.
and then immediately book your call with me.
Right.
And there's also an onboarding tour, of course.
Yes.
But so everyone that is an active student within the year has access to everything, can connect with everyone. So you also learn from the stories of other people who are further in the program, or you get stories from another angle of items you already went through. So it will keep on a learning process in that way.
Great.
And of course, we all have our own pace in which we go through certain processes. So it wasn't suited to do in groups because that gave too much stress.
Yes.
But we are a group because we are in this together.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
so
Mhm.
the QR code is up on the screen. I've put it up a few times so people can go onto your website and then book a call in with you and then have a conversation. So yeah, great. Good.
Yes.
I wanted to ask that because I didn't want us to run out of time and then me not have asked you that question.
Mm.
So
Thank you for that. I didn't expect that. So
yeah,
thank you for that.
yeah. So So how does your I'm really curious about this because I talked about this in your bio. So how does your work relate to spiritual
Mm.
awakening or non-duality?
Yes,
I'm really
beautiful
curious
question.
about this.
Beautiful question. Well, I was a former psychotherapist, so that was all about the human mind. And then I got this oneness experiences, and that actually fascinated me because when you are working on a level of psychotherapy, there will always remain scars and emotional triggers. But what I experienced in those oneness, uh, yeah, I was totally beyond scarves. There weren't scarves and there weren't triggers anymore. So I started to inquire that route and taught people about that. But after that, I heard this voice that told me I needed to write about emotions. And the interesting thing about that is that so I made this program and all students said to me, this is so logic and so simple. Why did no one came up with this before?
Right.
And that actually was because when we are in the physical world, we live by principles of the law of attraction. You can build your own life. You need to set goals. And non-duality actually speaks of you don't have free will. So they always bite each other. But what I discovered is that actually they are two sides of the same coin and they belong to each other. So only because I understood both sides and saw that they were related to each other, I could see the whole picture because emotions are energy and they reveal the whole picture of how this life here unfolds, whether we have free will and on which level. And so emotions are so much more than just psychological instruments,
Yeah.
and they speak of yeah, not only our individual life and goals, but because we are all connected,
Yeah.
we also are, yeah, somewhat like a bee crowd. But when we starting to live not for ourselves and gaining what we want,
Yeah.
when we truly live from ourselves, it is from the inside out.
Mm.
And so energetically also, I'm sorry, it is the energetic field goes out and it goes in again. And with that, it actually as well take care of ourselves as take care of the whole system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are living our own life, but we also are part of a much bigger chain. And that is
Mm.
all intertwined in the principles of the Codex.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mhm.
And this is an interesting thing for us to touch on as well is that so what would you say the difference is between emotions, feelings, intuition? Do you think that they're different?
Yes, totally. But in the approach, they aren't so different. When I take this example again,
Yeah.
I would say that on a physical level, we experience emotions as instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, scary when we are at the top of a building.
Yeah.
When we experience them on a mental level, it are emotions because emotions give feedback to our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
When we purely would feel emotions, those were feelings because they are energetic vibrances that we feel when we come closer to people. Those are feelings. And when insights from our higher consciousness speaks to us through our feelings, I would say it's intuition.
Intuition. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't approach them differently, but they come from a different level of existence.
Yes. Yeah. That's a beautiful explanation, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, really beautiful. Wow.
And the one is not more important than the other. A
Mm.
lot of people think, yes, intuition and feelings, that's good. But emotions, I need to get rid of. They are from the
Mm.
lower self. But that's not true.
Mm.
They actually are very important because they bring to light all the misassumptions that we have as human beings, carry with us.
What we've logically thought of things.
Yes, exactly. So the emotions are as well as important as our feelings. They
Yeah,
just show us different things about life.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Um, it's a beautiful, something really beautiful to leave with, I think, because I love that. That's a real, I've been asked that before and I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure, but that was a really good explanation. So I might take that one. Thank you. I'm a bit shocked that we've only actually got a couple of minutes left. I feel like we've only been talking for 5 minutes. So, um, I'm going to ask you the same question, a little bit tweaked though, because you've already answered this question for me before. So I'm going to tweak it, the usual question that I ask all of my guests when we finish our conversation. So can you share with us what is one lesson or truth that you've learned over the last 12 months that you're really grateful for?
Yes, I'm really grateful for, and that is actually very practical because once you understand life, your lessons are all about being a human. Yeah. So what I learned, what I'm very grateful at is I knew I needed to roll out my purpose in English. And that was kind of scary because I'm not a traveler. I'm really a rural girl in the Netherlands. And so what I've learned in meeting all these people all around the world from all kinds of religions and backgrounds is that inside we are all the same,
Mm.
all the same. Oh, and when I speak it out loud, actually it touches me because there's
Oh,
so much misunderstanding and misaccepting about that we are all the same on the level of emotions. Oh, how wonderful would it be if we all would see that and
that's
embrace
really
each other also at
beautiful.
that level?
I felt that too when you said that. That was really, really beautiful. What a
Yes,
beautiful way to finish our conversation.
yes,
Thank you.
humanly.
Look, I've loved our time again today. I think I feel really great. I'm very grateful that I get to spend this time with you and to just learn more about you and what you do and the incredible work that you do. So hopefully we'll have you again in another 12 months and we can hear even more about what's going on. But
I'll
thank
put
you.
it on my calendar.
No pressure, no pressure. But thank you. Thank you so much for spending this time today.
Yes, I was happy to. Thank you too.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank all of my amazing and dedicated audience, supporters, and again to my sponsors. I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. And again, thank you so much, Vera.
You're welcome. You too.